we're doing too bad. We've got me, who was a long conservative that actually voted against Trump. You've got Dumb Trump. He's straight up Biden is fine.
But just the last
And
4
then
years,
this
I was
young
an
man
independent for
is
25 years.
fairly conservative.
You know who I like?
He's
I
like
like
an
Tulsi.
independent. Democrat or what?
I think he counts himself a true independent.
Well, let him say something. Okay.
Okay.
Were you happy about it? I voted in 10 elections. I've never been this divided. I've never been hated a candidate like I do now. Never. I couldn't give a shit who won most of the time. But that's cool.
Well, your queen carries. Yes.
You don't think white supremacists have really gained power the last 4 years under Trump?
No.
Why?
It's
If you
the
were
media,
black
man. The
and you
media
lived in the
saying that.
South, you wouldn't.
Can you name it might have, I don't know, man. I feel like we're being misled
In so
maybe
many
in some
ways.
areas, but I'm not seeing that. You know what I mean?
However, if you haven't actually studied QAnon a little bit, it is worth studying. I will say that, because it is, parts of it are true. Absolutely.
You know,
there's some
Yeah,
weird
the
shit going on in
Democrats are
Pedophile Island.
pedophiles?
Weird ass
The
shit.
Democrat.
No, but
It's
you
one
know
of
what
the
I'm
main
seeing?
things, right?
went on with Jeffrey Epstein.
You know what I'm seeing? I'm seeing
Yep.
people throw temper tantrums when they don't get their way. I'm seeing businesses
is
being boarded
stupid.
up and Trump wins. You know, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Black Lives Matter activists harassing people in the name of a movement that is under a false pretense. You know? I'm not...
What's the
But
false
racism
pretense?
is still a
The false
problem.
pretense is, if you want to talk about the core of the matter and what's the real issue in the black community, it's black people killing black people. If you look at
I
the
agree.
statistics on police on black crime, it's actually
agree with that.
very small. More white
And
people get
when-
killed by police than black people do. Right.
I'm pro cop. Okay, but
Yeah.
I think 90% of cops are good. I think
Where
5
I
to
come
10% are
from
dirty and bad. Okay, and they should be
is
able to weed
why
them out.
couldn't we have just said, hold on, why couldn't anyone have just said nobody could possibly be against more training for our police officers?
Exactly.
How could you
That's
possibly, how could you
a
possibly
good
say,
president would have
fuck
said that.
How
A good
could you
president would
possibly
have said
be
that.
against more support for our police officers? You know,
Right.
if they're showing up, go ahead. But
So I grew up in a poor neighborhood, and
but you're
and I was
really
raised
not.
right.
You,
No,
you
that's
see,
less
that's
than
when it crosses
5% of the
away
protesters.
from.
Less than
It
5%
is,
of the
that's less than
protesters.
5,
And
and
they're
that's where
not
you
Black
cross
Lives
away
Matter.
from
They're
Black
thugs.
Lives Matter. It crosses over to the opportunists that are taking advantage of what is currently going on. The people that were in lockdown for
Exactly.
2 fucking months and were so
Yeah, and you
ready
got
for
these
anything
Antifa people.
to go on, which is insane. Okay, it is. There's crazy shit there, but there is also incredibly crazy shit going on with QAnon, if you haven't studied it, it's worth studying because there's just enough truth to hook people. It's a game theory. Just like you get people hooked on your MMORPG, your multi-online playing game that has certain quests,
Right.
but you leave Easter eggs out for them to find. Whoever made up Q did it brilliantly. There's just enough truth there. That
Every
if you
cult
start to
has
study it, you go,
every
"Oh,
cult has
shit."
some truth to it.
Yes,
Okay,
but
every cult,
they are
or else they
dangerous
wouldn't
as
get the
hell.
following.
And
Well,
you've got both sides, extremes on both sides that are,
and Trump supports it.
and whereas I don't see, he does encourage a lot of it.
He
Because
says, as long as they
simply
vote for me,
because-
I'm happy with them.
No, it's not even if you vote for me.
I'll tell you exactly what Trump said in the
but
interview.
here's where
He says
Trump saying
they're
that
against
leads to
pedophiles.
believe. Hold
He
on.
says, I like
It's
them because
he
they're against
comes from
pedophiles, and they like
he
me.
comes from a TV background, and he comes from a TV background. Therefore, any attention is good attention once you're a celebrity. That's how you keep ratings.
He wants
So
turmoil.
by
He
him
wants chaos.
trying to be divisive, he gets the ratings.
I mean, to your point,
Everybody is.
Trump. To your point, Dump Trump. Yeah, he should come out and speak out against these things. But similar
Yes.
to that, the BLM movement should come out and say, "Hey, guys, we know that you're very passionate about these things, but
you
you're
need to stop."
diluting our message by
Yes.
attacking homes and civilians that have nothing to do
I
with
don't
the
of them
think-
movement."
have as well.
Again, I don't think 95% of them attacked anything. Okay? I think maybe 5% did, and I think they came there and
Right.
they knew there was going to be a diversion with the cops, so they could do whatever they want, as far as knocking the store. You know
Right?
what I
No,
was
no, but
surprised about?
but to your point, they should also speak out against people that are diluting from the message, similar to what you're saying about Trump.
they should.
He needs to condemn white supremacy, and you're
Right.
absolutely right.
But no, they should speak out against violence, and both sides do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the debate, he didn't do it, and that probably hurt him a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Trump says there's good people on both sides.
Well,
That's what he said about
my
Charlotte
problem with
and North
Trump
Carolina.
is he doesn't actually condemn.
There's people
the
on good
far,
sides
far.
of KKK and shit like that, and
No.
white supremacy. All right, there's a couple good people. I'll give you that. That was a really inappropriate comment he made at the time, though.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
don't-
surprised me most about Black Lives Matter is there's way more white people out there marching with them than black people. That's what really surprised me. I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah.
Way more white people on Black Lives Matter movements. Well, maybe it hasn't been big in 20 years. Maybe I don't remember. Because this is the biggest movement I've seen in
there's a
a
lot.
couple decades.
There's a lot of videos and things
When-
out there. that
When you were
illustrate
watching
how
Cross
crazy
that bridge and stuff in the 60s, there were no white people, All right. Well, where'd you grow up?
Okay, don't get me wrong. Go ahead. You go first. But I put a lot of thought into what you're talking about as well. Me too. I graduated
What state?
85, by the way.
What city? What state? Okay. Were you affluent? Was it poor or was it affluent? Did you have good, upper middle class? Okay. And in fact, well, and I think it's gotten a lot better over the last 5-6 decades. I mean, we took a big major step backward. We took a major step backwards this last year.
Recently,
but,
we have.
But I remember when in the 70s and 80s, people making the N-word slur and all that shit, like it was nothing. My father did it, and people on my block did it. And then, in my generation, when I had kids, we never did that. And all the white people that support the Black Lives Matter is a sign of progress. We all got to get along. We're all fucking human beings, and someday we're all going to be one fucking color. Well, it's especially in the last couple of years. I mean, I can't believe Colin Kaepernick started it, actually. I mean, but George, the couple guys who got killed that were pretty gruesome. I mean, but it was a death. It was a death that starts it up every time. How do you think? Do you think Obama was a good president? I think it was the best one since Clinton. I would vote for him another 2 terms in a heartbeat. Drone struck? More so than Trump? Come on. Well, he didn't lock people and kids in cages and separate the parents. I know that. Yeah, come on. Whatever. Okay. We could agree to disagree.
We playing poker, or we?
No, we have a political conversation. We've been doing this for a half hour. People come, people go. It's all good. We respect both sides. We're all trying to respect each other's opinion.
This is a rarity.
Yeah, and believe it or not, if you're just walking in,
I call it mental masturbation, actually.
I was lifetime
Anything with
conservative,
masturbation, I'm in.
raised on a farm.
There you go.
And I switched because I
Me
think
too.
Trump's a dick. You've got Mr. Trump is very pro-Biden.
I was
and then you got this
independent
young
for the
man
last
who's very
25 years.
independent, but he voted for Obama twice and then has switched over and voted for Trump. So it's an interesting mix we got going out here.
We have a good mix. You don't think
And
it's good
so
versus
far,
evil
it's
right
fairly
now?
civil.
You don't think it's good versus evil? How about just the pandemic? Do you think we should wear masks or not wear masks? Pandemic. Do you think we should wear masks?
That bullshit?
No.
Oh, I agree. I hate that. If Trump would have handed out masks in March, when they sent out stimulus checks, sent everyone a MAGA mask, the pandemic would be a lot better, and he would have won this fucking election by 10 points. I swear to him. Who else agrees with that? If he
I actually studied it. Gentlemen, in February, I swear to God, 350 yards of Halyard Sterile 600 surgical cloths. I've been making my own fucking N99. I swear to God, I've been making my own masks out of filtration quality material that'll go down to 0.02 microns. It
So
actually
you're
works better than my
pro-mask.
P95. Yes. But
why-
when
why-
they came
why
out and
did-
said that, they were
Can't
pussies
Trump admit he was
because
wrong
they
after
didn't-
8 months?
They didn't just say they only said it mask. What the government wanted to say and couldn't was they have to be medical filtration or
No.
there's a problem, and we still haven't fixed the issue with PPE.
No, but let me share this. At the very beginning, he keeps talking about Fauci. Fauci said a regular mask ain't going to prevent you from getting it. But once they found out that you could prevent other people from getting it, then they were all pro-masks. And you could wear
what
2 pieces of
pissed me
cotton over
off-
your mouth, and it helps.
What pissed me
you know?
off, in all honesty,
ahead.
is those cotton masks don't do near as much as they could if our government had have gotten off of their ass and said,
Oh,
yes,
no
they
shit.
do need to be medical quality. And
Well,
they would have, that's why I started making them, is because you couldn't buy the motherfuckers. So since you
But
couldn't
you
buy them,
heard-
I had no choice.
Wait,
I have
did
a
anyone-
P95.
Did
That's
anyone hear
actually
the
my
Bob
biomask.
Woodward tapes? Did anyone hear the audio tapes from Bob Woodward in February where Trump said this is a really bad pandemic and it's going to be horrible and it's going to be airborne?
Yep.
And it's all an audio recording from February 5th. And yet he still tells the American people it's a joke, it's a farce. Don't worry about it. It's going to go away. He's still
And you
lying
see,
after 8
where
months.
that kills me.
Go ahead. No one said to do
No.
that. Don't go to the other
It would have
extreme.
been better if he would have explained it clearly.
No, he
Exactly.
said we
Because
can't
it
handle
was
the
in
truth.
February,
knows.
because it was before it was known. The public knew
said
that
he
they
didn't want to
admitted
scare
that
the
it was
public.
airborne. They didn't do that until
Absolutely.
March.
He,
Okay? No.
right, and with the
In February,
right,
he was informed
that's what I'm
it was
saying.
airborne,
Trump
and they
should have
knew.
changed his mind at some point in February, March, April, or May, not still sticking to the and have a super spreader.
I got a side point to make since we're talking about the pandemic. I want you guys to tell me. Now we've been in this pandemic, pretty
How are we
and
gonna
pretty
get
thick of
out?
it since February.
February.
Well, right. So if we've been in it since February, and how many people have been infected with this disease?
9 million.
Would you guys say? How
in
many?
the U.S., 9 million.
9 million,
And
maybe
250
worldwide.
230,000 died.
Much more.
Well, whatever. My point is not
But
specifics
to-
on
to
numbers, but
answer
we
your
can
question,
say we can say at least. To be fair, we can say at
80,000
least
a
10
day.
million people in the world have been infected with this disease.
Oh,
Is that a
way
fair
more in the
statement?
world. Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, for argument's sake, for the point I'm trying to drive
Yeah,
to,
me.
at least 10 million people have had this virus. And what I find
Absolutely.
interesting is that how they can't tell us, and I'm not saying they, but like anybody in the world, no one's coming out and saying whether or not you can catch this virus twice. And at
They
least
have,
they
and
can
you
say
can't.
They
from
don't
an
know yet.
optimistic standpoint.
They have, and you can.
Again, it's the input. Science is a study of new information coming in all the time.
Right,
so you
right, right,
always
but
have
like-
to change
But
your
with,
viewpoint.
with a sampling
that-
size of 10 million people, you should be able to at least say with some confidence for 4+ months, your antibodies don't seem to, you seem to build up antibodies that will last for at least X number of months.
They're,
a few months, yeah.
estimating 3 to 4 months right now. They're estimating. But
Okay.
There's one person who is documented who got it twice in March and then September. That's the
But
only
there's
one I've
something
heard of.
wrong
So
with that as
obviously
well.
not
Right.
people are doing
I
it.
mean, but with 10 million, you get the point I'm trying to make. With 10 million people and maybe only like a handful of people that have gotten it again, to me, that's optimistic news that no one's talking about. You know what I mean? Don't you guys find that
But they
interesting?
don't understand the fella yet. Like one thing I heard just the other day, it depends how much of a dose you get. If you're in the room with one person who has a bed and you spend 10 hours
But
with
your
them,
viral
you're
load
going to
does
get a
have a
much
great
higher
deal to do
dose
with this virus.
and be sicker and develop more
Your
antibodies.
initial, they've proven that for sure.
If you just
Your
pass by
initial
My
somebody and get
understanding
it,
is that people that have gotten it
exposure-
again have experienced very mild symptoms. So, I mean, I don't know.
that's
Actually,
possible.
hold up. We know for sure that it affects people with underlying conditions much more than
Right.
people in perfect health. We know
Except
that.
Trump, he got
we
lucky.
also know for sure that a great deal of the people that just suffer mild to moderate symptoms actually wind up with cellular damage to their cardiovascular system somewhere, but we haven't figured out how the fuck that works because in a large
40%.
But anyway,
40% are
think about
asymptomatic.
this. You go into it, you get it, your symptoms are only mild to moderate. You're actually doing pretty good, but you do have a little bit of damage. If you get it again, it's only logical that it could be and probably would be worse the second time. If we don't wind up with a vaccine, and not to be an alarmist, but knowing ancient history, if we don't get a vaccine, this actually could change the average expected lifespan. It could. If
Oh, for
we
sure.
don't wind up with immunity, and if we can develop a vaccine.
Polio? How about polio?
Polio, smallpox.
But it's not spread from person to person anymore like it was in that
Measles,
pandemic.
mumps. But the flu is a coronavirus.
Right. And I think coronavirus is going to mutate.
You're arguing coronaviruses versus just a virus in general.
Well, no, the flu is a form of
Coronaviruses tend
coronavirus.
to, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it changes every year.
Mm-hmm. And we were real excited when we discovered the Italian strain.
Nice hand.
It helps. It's going to help. I'm not familiar with those kind of numbers. 90% of people get vaccinated for polio when they still get it. Well, but how many is there? 300 million people get prevented from polio because, and 10 million still get it. I mean, that's what we don't know. No. We're getting it under control where we can go out and eat at restaurants again. No, it's
Right
not.
now, I've been eating out.
Hey, restaurants are going out of business every freaking day. Friendlies just went out. No, because you can't be within 6
then you
feet of
have
each other
me.
when you don't have a mask on.
But hold on. But then you do have me. My brother lost his mother-in-law to COVID. My mother is 81 years old with diabetes. She's not huge, but she's a little fluffy. We live way out on a farm. I'm 53. I have diabetes and a real bad issue with my back.
Nice ham.
It doesn't. But regardless, my mother is at extreme risk if she gets this. You know. Exactly. So without
There's a lot
getting
of people's
control
fear.
of it on a national level, what the fuck am I going to do for the next couple of years?
You get the flu and get sick.
Yes.
It's before my time. How do we get back to Bill Gates?
Oh, no.
Well, that was a leap.
One lost me too.
That was a leap.
And I'm the one over here sitting here smoking weed.
Oh, okay, well, pass it around so we can follow you.
Hold on.
That's going to help. No, we got to get the positivity numbers down. We got to get the hospitals at not less than 90% capacity. That's before, we got to get the spread down. Then
There we go.
Then we can, huh? I'm in Florida.
Puff, puff, pass. Fuck Corona.
What? What have you been smoking? You've been smoking a lot of weed. Did you see New York in March and April when they were 95% capacity and they were building fucking hospitals and ball fields? No.
Brother, I've actually got friends in El Paso right now in the medical field, and they are freaking the fuck out. I'm just saying.
It was New York in the beginning, and now it's the whole Midwest. It was Florida and Texas, Arizona during the summer, and now it's the whole Midwest. It keeps spreading, and it's spreading now in Europe. England just closed down for a month. I mean, it's fucking all over the country, the world. Ventilators. I think you've been smoking a lot of that doobie tonight.
Intensive care and ventilators are different.
That's because in the beginning we didn't have that many ventilators.
Ventilators are still, if you get to the point where you're sick enough that you're on a vent, it is still like a 20% death rate right now. However,
it used to be a lot higher.
Is much different.
In New York, people in March and April, they weren't coming off them. If you got on the ventilator, there was an 80% chance you were dying in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now they have therapeutics and I didn't hear that. They don't want people to get that bad. We read different articles. I'm sorry. I remember Andrew Cuomo coming on every day saying we need more ventilators or we're out of them. It's like people are dying. Yeah, well, we finally bought some. But you have, it's for the whole area up there. It wasn't just New York, it was Boston. And no, I never heard 3/4 were not used. I never heard that. I heard we still don't have enough PPE, and we've been doing this for 8 months. We were supposed to be.
We are still low on, especially masks.
We were supposed to be. Summer was supposed to be a quiet time where we stocked everything.
On the disposable N95s that they actually use in the hospitals.
But it never happened. It never quieted down.
In all fairness, we did not lock the fuck down.
Memorial Day, it spiked. Everyone went out to the beaches and shit like that, and it spiked.
Less than 62% of the population actually locked down. We did not lock down. Period.
And Trump still has super spreader events 3 times a day during the last 2 weeks. 5,000 people at his rallies with no masks. Most of those people had masks
also
on.
Contributed. No.
Most of them did.
No, hold on.
No,
boys.
I didn't say it was okay.
It did. It wasn't okay, and it did spread. And if you look at the cities,
yeah, I agree, it did spread, but it was less. It was less than the Trump rally, where 5% of people are masked.
We don't know yet, but I believe we will see that.
Come on.
I do believe we'll see that. I think that's insane.
Wish I had a king.
Could not pay me to go to a fucking basketball game right now that they actually opened up. I mean, you couldn't pay me to go to a political rally in general. But.
You can tell when all the sports are only letting 10% of the people in. It's serious. No. How many people wear masks? How many people wearing masks? You have to wear one, right?
And I will agree with this. If
Same
I
thing
did
on
have a
airplanes,
choice-
man.
That's why
Same
we
thing-
are where we
same thing on
are.
airplanes.
But I live on the same farm that my grandpa bought in 1919. I get on a 1939 Farmall tractor and dick around out in the fields. My kids come over on the weekend. Couldn't take them on vacation, so I set up a big-ass tent in the middle field, bought another go-kart, put a little hot tub beside it. Voila, we vacationed all fucking summer long in the back field. So I stay away from people, but if I
You
had
put
to
a
be
hot
out
tub in the
there-
middle of a go-kart track?
I put a hot tub in the middle of a fucking cow field, Jack, with a go-kart track. Yes, I did. I bought
So you
myself
got
one
do
of
you
those.
have cows on your land?
Actually, we have horses behind us. We don't have a cow anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, we're on a 10-acre spread beside like an 80-acre horse farm. The horse farm is behind us, and behind that's the Scioto River. So it's about a half-mile trek down on the tractor or on the go-karts to the river bottom, and we just stay the fuck home and
Nice.
grow our own food, grow our own weed, and fuck society. That's my
Nice.
opinion of this entire situation. Huh? Yeah, yeah. Yep, we can get all the way
Got
down
it.
to the river.
Good hand.
I can even take my little, I can put a little trailer on the back of my tractor and take it back with the kayaks and shit and go swim in the river, and then I hose them off and throw them in the hot tub. I would not drink the Scioto River water if you paid me $1 million. No way. However, I do have a little over 900 gallons of rain storage here on the farm because we have well water. We have a
You have
well,
well
and
water?
then we have well on the farm, and then I also have 900 gallons of IBC totes to collect rainwater
Nice.
because our well water is like at 300 parts per million. Yeah, and rainwater comes down at like 7 parts per million off my roof.
Huh.
We do what shit? Why are we